1 year had passed since Emma asked her daddy why Maria was sleeping on the street. It was hard to believe how much had changed in just 12 months. Emma was now 8 years old and the galaxy was completely different. The old Galactic Federation had been dissolved. In its place was the Galactic Cooperative, where every species had an equal voice. Decisions were made based on good ideas and proven results, not on how long a species had been in space. Emma sat in her daddy's office, drawing pictures while he worked on his latest project. Through the big window, she could see the new International Space Academy being built. Human children and alien children would study together there, learning from each other. "Daddy, look at my drawing," Emma said, holding up her paper. The drawing showed humans and aliens working together on a spaceship. Everyone in the picture was smiling and helping each other. "That's beautiful, sweetheart. Is that how you think things should be?" Daniel asked. "That's how things are now," Emma said matter-of-factly. "Everyone helps everyone," Daniel smiled. His daughter was right as usual. The cooperation between species had led to amazing advances in technology, medicine, and exploration. Captain Rodriguez was now Admiral Rodriguez, the first human to hold that rank in galactic history. She commanded mixed-species fleets that explored new star systems and responded to emergencies across the galaxy. Dr. Mitchell had become the director of cooperative research, sharing his energy technology freely with scientists from every species. His engines now powered ships from dozens of different worlds. Maria had perhaps the most important job of all. She was the director of Galactic Humanitarian Affairs, making sure that no being anywhere in the galaxy lacked food, shelter, or medical care. "Emma, do you remember Maria when we first met her?" Daniel asked. "Yes, she was sleeping on the street because the aliens wouldn't let her build things," Emma said. "And now she's helping people all across the galaxy," Daniel said. Emma nodded. "That's what happens when you let smart people use their brains to help others." That afternoon, Emma went with her daddy to the opening ceremony of the new Space Academy. Children from 20 different species were starting school together. It was the first truly integrated education program in galactic history. Emma was excited because she would be starting at the academy next month. She had already made friends with alien children through video calls. "Daddy, my friend Zexty has 3 hearts. Isn't that cool?" Emma said. "Very cool, sweetheart." "What else is different about Zexty?" Daniel asked. "She's really good at math. And she likes to draw pictures too. And she asks lots of questions like me," Emma said. Admiral Rodriguez gave a speech at the ceremony. She talked about how cooperation made everyone stronger and safer. "1 year ago, we were divided by fear and mistrust," Lisa said. "Today, we're united by friendship and shared purpose. Our children will grow up in a galaxy where being different is celebrated, not feared." Emma clapped loudly when Admiral Rodriguez mentioned the importance of asking questions. After the ceremony, a young Zephyrian approached Emma and Daniel. The Zephyrians had once been enemies of the Federation, but now they were part of the cooperative. "Excuse me, are you Emma Carter?" the young alien asked. "Yes, I am," Emma said politely. "My name is Kekstar. My family was saved when the humans defeated our old government. I wanted to thank you," he said. "Thank me for what?" Emma asked. "Your question changed everything. You asked why people wanted to stop others from helping. That question made my parents think about what was really right and wrong," Kekstar explained. Emma smiled. "I'm glad your family is safe now. My little sister wants to be a doctor so she can help people like Admiral Rodriguez helped us," Kekstar said. As they walked home, Daniel thought about how much had changed. Earth was now one of the most important planets in the galaxy, not because humans were the strongest or the smartest, but because they had shown everyone the value of cooperation and quick action. "Emma, are you happy with how things turned out?" Daniel asked. "Yes, Daddy." "But I have a new question," Emma said. Daniel smiled. He should have expected this. "What's your question, sweetheart?" "Now that everyone is working together and helping each other, what should we do next?" Emma asked. It was another simple question that made Daniel think. The galaxy had solved many old problems, but there were always new challenges to face. "What do you think we should do next?" Daniel asked. "I think we should explore new places and make friends with more people, and we should keep helping anyone who needs help," Emma said. That evening, the Carter family had dinner together. Daniel, Emma, and Maria sat around their table sharing stories about their day. "Maria, do you ever think about when we first met?" Emma asked. "Every day, little one." "You changed my life when you gave me your sandwich," Maria said. "You changed lots of people's lives," Emma said. "No, Emma. You changed lots of people's lives. Your questions made everyone think about what was really important," Maria replied. As Emma got ready for bed, she looked out her window at the city. Flying cars moved peacefully between the buildings. Human ships and alien ships flew together in perfect harmony. The old divisions were gone. "Daddy, will you tell me a bedtime story?" Emma asked. "Of course. What kind of story would you like?" Daniel said. "Tell me a story about a little girl who asked a question and changed the galaxy," Emma said. "That's not a story, sweetheart. That's your life," Daniel said. Emma giggled. "I know, but it's a good story, isn't it?" "It's the best story I know," Daniel said. 6 months later, Emma was thriving at the Space Academy. She was learning mathematics from Centauri teachers, art from Zephyrian instructors, and engineering from human professors. Her best friends included children from 8 different species. One day, while studying in the Academy library, Emma noticed something that made her think. There was a memorial wall with pictures of beings who had died in the old wars between species. Emma stared at the wall for a long time. Then she asked her teacher a question that would lead to the next great change. "Mrs. Velnash, why did all these people have to die before everyone learned to be friends?" Her teacher, a Centauri with gentle blue skin, knelt down next to Emma. "That's a very important question, Emma. What do you think?" Mrs. Velnash asked. "I think they died because nobody asked the right questions soon enough," Emma said. "What questions should they have asked?" Mrs. Velnash said. Emma thought carefully. "They should have asked, how can we help each other? Instead of, how can we beat each other?" Mrs. Velnash smiled. "Emma, that might be the most important lesson anyone could learn." That evening, Emma told her daddy about the memorial wall and her conversation with Mrs. Velnash. "Daddy, I want to make sure no more people die because they didn't ask the right questions," Emma said. "How would you do that, sweetheart?" Daniel asked. "I want to teach other children how to ask good questions. Questions that help people instead of hurting them," Emma said. Daniel hugged his daughter. At 8 years old, she was already thinking about how to make the galaxy an even better place. 2 years later, when Emma was 10, she started the first Children's Council for Galactic Peace. Children from every species in the cooperative joined together to ask important questions and propose solutions to galactic problems. The adult leaders of the cooperative were amazed by the simple wisdom of the Children's Council. When adults got stuck arguing about complicated rules, the children would ask basic questions that cut straight to the heart of the issue. Emma had grown from a little girl who wondered why someone was sleeping on the street into a young leader who helped solve problems across the galaxy, but she never forgot the lesson she learned that first day with Maria. The most powerful tool anyone could have was a simple question asked with genuine care for others. Years passed. Emma grew up and became a diplomat, traveling to new worlds and helping different species understand each other. Wherever she went, she taught people the power of asking the right questions. When Emma was 25, she returned to Earth for a special celebration. It was the anniversary of the Galactic Cooperative, and a memorial was being dedicated to all the people who had helped create the new order. The memorial was built on the spot where Emma had first met Maria, outside her daddy's old office building. The inscription read, "Sometimes the smallest voices ask the biggest questions." Emma stood with her daddy, now gray-haired but still proud, as Admiral Rodriguez gave a speech. 20 years ago, a little girl asked why someone was sleeping on the street. That question led to the greatest transformation in the news of the human victory over the Zephyrian Empire had spread to every corner of the galaxy. For the first time in over a century, the Federation was at peace. But this peace had been achieved by the very humans that Overseer Keltar claimed were too dangerous to act independently. Daniel was still in Federation custody. But the political situation was changing rapidly. Species across the galaxy were asking uncomfortable questions about why humans had been restricted for so long. Emma hadn't seen her daddy for 3 weeks. She missed him terribly. But she was proud of what Captain Rodriguez and her crews had accomplished. "Maria, will the aliens let Daddy come home now?" Emma asked. "I hope so, sweetheart. Your daddy's friends did something very important. It's hard for anyone to say humans aren't ready to help now," Maria replied. But Keltar was not ready to give up his control over humanity. Even though human forces had just saved the Federation, he saw their success as a threat to the established order. The Federation Council must understand, Keltar addressed the assembly on the capital planet. If we allow humans to act independently, other junior species will demand the same privileges. Order will collapse. But the other Federation members were no longer listening to his arguments. Ambassador Velnash from the Centauri colony stood up to speak. Overseer Keltar, human forces saved my homeworld. My people are alive today because humans were willing to take risks that our own commanders wouldn't take. How can we call this dangerous? Ambassador Teclon from the mining worlds agreed. The humans didn't just defeat our enemies. They rescued our prisoners and evacuated our civilians. They acted with honor and compassion. Back on Earth, Emma was preparing to do something that would change everything again. She had been thinking about her daddy and about all the discussions she had heard. She decided it was time to ask another important question. With Maria's help, Emma recorded a new video message. But this time, instead of just sending it to human social networks, they broadcast it directly to the Federation Council session. The council members were debating human restrictions when suddenly, their screens showed a 7-year-old girl sitting in a simple chair. "Hello, my name is Emma Carter. I'm 7 years old and my daddy is in your jail," she began. The Federation Council chamber became completely quiet. Even Keltar stopped talking. "I want to ask you something. When your children are in danger, do you want brave people to save them? Or do you want those people to ask permission first while your children get hurt?" Emma looked directly into the camera with her big brown eyes. Captain Rodriguez and her friends saved lots of children, alien children and human children. They didn't ask permission because there wasn't time. Children were getting hurt right then. She paused the way her daddy had taught her when she wanted people to think about something important. "My daddy taught me that helping people is always right. He said brave people do brave things to help others. Is my daddy wrong? Is helping people a bad thing?" Emma's voice was getting a little shaky, but she continued. "I miss my daddy, but I'm proud of him because he taught me to help people. I'm proud of Captain Rodriguez because she saved everyone. I'm proud of all the humans who were brave." Then Emma asked the question that would echo across the galaxy. "Why do you want to punish people for being heroes?" The Federation Council chamber remained silent for a long moment after Emma's broadcast ended. Many of the alien representatives looked uncomfortable. Some were wiping their eyes. Ambassador Velnash was the first to speak. "Out of the mouths of children comes wisdom. This little one has asked the question we should all be asking ourselves." Ambassador Teclon nodded. "My own children were saved by human crews. How do I explain to them that I voted to punish their rescuers?" Other council members began sharing similar stories. The human rescue missions had saved millions of lives. Families across the galaxy owed their survival to the humans that Keltar wanted to imprison. But Keltar made one last desperate attempt to maintain control. "Council members, you're being manipulated by emotional appeals. This child has been coached to say these things. We cannot make policy based on the words of a 7-year-old. That was a mistake." Attacking Emma Carter directly turned even his supporters against him. "Overseer Keltar, are you suggesting that saving children is wrong?" Ambassador Velnash asked coldly. "Are you saying that courage and compassion are bad qualities?" Ambassador Teclon added. Emma's broadcast had been seen by billions of beings across the galaxy. Children on every planet were asking their parents the same question. Why do you want to punish people for being heroes? On the Centauri worlds, young aliens organized protests supporting human rights. On the mining planets, workers went on strike demanding equality for all species. Even on Keltar's homeworld, citizens were questioning their government's treatment of humans. The revolution that Emma had started with her question about Maria sleeping on the street had now spread across the entire galaxy. Beings everywhere were demanding changes to the old system. Captain Rodriguez, still commanding the human fleet, received a message from Federation High Command. For the first time in her career, she was being asked for her opinion on military strategy. "Captain Rodriguez, the Council would like your recommendations for preventing future Zephyrian-style attacks," General Adams transmitted. Lisa smiled as she replied, "My recommendation is to treat all species as equals. Let everyone contribute their best ideas instead of following rigid hierarchies." Dr. Mitchell was also contacted by Federation scientists who wanted to learn about his engine designs. The same technology they had called too dangerous was now considered essential for galactic defense. "Dr. Mitchell, "We need to understand how your engines work," a senior Federation researcher requested. "I'll be happy to share everything," Alan replied. "But I want to work as an equal partner, not a supervised junior." The pressure on the Federation Council was becoming overwhelming. Reports arrived daily of civil unrest on member worlds. Citizens were demanding to know why their governments had suppressed human innovation for so long. Finally, Ambassador Velnash called for a formal vote. "I move that all restrictions on human activities be immediately suspended. Further, I propose that humanity be granted full membership status in the Federation." "Seconded," Ambassador Teklon said immediately. Keltar tried one more time to block the motion. "Council members, this is a mistake that will lead to chaos across the galaxy." But Emma's video was still being broadcast on screens throughout the chamber. Her innocent question had exposed the fundamental injustice of the old system. The vote was overwhelming. Only 3 species supported continuing the restrictions on humanity. 47 species voted for full human equality. When the results were announced, celebrations began on Earth and throughout human colonies. But the real celebration would come when Daniel was released from custody. Emma was sleeping when Maria got the call. Daniel would be coming home the next day. All charges against him had been dropped. Captain Rodriguez and other human officers were also being released. "Emma, wake up. I have wonderful news," Maria said gently. Emma opened her eyes. "Is Daddy coming home?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Your daddy is coming home tomorrow," Maria said. Emma jumped out of bed and hugged Maria tight. "I knew he would come home. I knew the aliens would realize that helping people is good." The next day, Emma waited at the spaceport with Maria and thousands of other humans. When Daniel's transport ship landed, Emma ran to meet him. "Daddy!" she shouted as she jumped into his arms. "Hello, sweetheart. I missed you so much," Daniel said as he hugged her tight. "Daddy, I asked them why they wanted to punish heroes, and they didn't have a good answer," Emma said proudly. "You did perfect, Emma. You asked exactly the right question," Daniel said. That evening, the Carter family was together again. Daniel, Emma, and Maria sat in their living room watching the news. The Federation was announcing major changes to its structure. The old system of senior and junior species was being replaced with true equality. "Emma, do you know what you've done?" Daniel asked his daughter. "I helped people ask important questions," Emma said. "You did much more than that, sweetheart. You changed how the entire galaxy thinks about fairness and helping others," Daniel said. Emma smiled. "Good. Now nobody has to sleep on the street because they're not allowed to use their brain." As Emma went to bed that night, she felt happy and proud. Her simple questions had led to big changes. People who wanted to help others were now free to help. Children across the galaxy were safer because brave people could act quickly when needed. But Emma didn't know that the biggest changes were still to come. The galaxy was about to transform in ways that nobody had imagined. And it all started because a 7-year-old girl wasn't afraid to ask why someone was sleeping on the street. Tomorrow would bring new adventures and new questions. But tonight, Emma slept peacefully knowing that her daddy was home and that good people were free to help others. Emma's video message had spread across the entire galaxy. Children on hundreds of planets were asking the same question. Why do you want to stop people from helping other people? Many alien parents struggled to give good answers, but Overseer Keltar was more determined than ever to put an end to human independence. Daniel had been in Federation custody for a week. His trial was scheduled to begin soon. If he was found guilty, he could be sent to a prison planet for the rest of his life. Emma stayed with Maria while her daddy was away. Every night she asked when he was coming home. Every night Maria had to say she didn't know. "Emma, your daddy is very brave. He's fighting for what's right," Maria said. "I know, but I miss him," Emma replied. Captain Rodriguez was also in trouble. The Federation had stripped her of her command and threatened her with court-martial. But she refused to apologize for the rescue mission. "I would do it again tomorrow," she told reporters. "Saving lives is always the right choice." Then something happened that changed everything. The Zephyrian Empire, longtime enemies of the Federation, launched a massive surprise attack on the Outer Rim colonies. The Zephyrians were a warrior species that had been at war with the Federation for over a century. Their attack came without warning. 12 colony worlds were under assault simultaneously. The Federation fleet was scattered across the galaxy and couldn't respond quickly enough. Emergency meetings were called on every Federation planet. On Earth, General Adams gathered all available human military officers. The Federation is requesting all member species to contribute ships and crews to the defense effort, General Adams announced. But there was a problem. Most of Earth's best officers, including Captain Rodriguez, were facing criminal charges. The remaining human fleet was small and poorly equipped compared to alien ships. Emma watched the news with Maria. The reports showed Federation ships moving slowly toward the battle zones. The alien commanders were following standard procedures, which required detailed planning and committee approvals before any military action. Why are they taking so long? Emma asked. Federation military procedures are very careful, Maria explained. They don't like to take risks. But people are getting hurt right now. Shouldn't they help them right now? Emma said. Meanwhile, the Human Initiative was holding secret meetings. Even though Daniel was in prison, the other members wanted to help with the crisis. Dr. Mitchell had been working on new ship designs in secret. I have blueprints for a fleet of fast attack ships. They could be built in 2 weeks. We don't have Federation permission to build military ships, Sam worried. Since when has that stopped us? Captain Rodriguez said. She had broken out of Federation custody and was hiding on the moon. People are dying out there. We can't wait for permission. Maria was torn. Daniel had told her to be careful while he was gone. But she knew he would want them to help in this crisis. What would Mr. Carter do? She asked the group. He would ask what Emma thinks, Captain Rodriguez said with a smile. So they called Emma and asked her opinion. Even though she was only 7, the adults had learned to value her simple wisdom. Emma, there are bad aliens attacking good aliens. The Federation wants to help, but they're moving very slowly. Should we help even if they didn't ask us to? Maria explained carefully. Emma thought for a moment. If someone's house is on fire, you don't wait for permission to throw water on it. You just help. That was all the Human Initiative needed to hear. Over the next 3 days, they worked around the clock. Daniel's factories on the moon began producing ships using Dr. Mitchell's new designs. The ships were smaller and faster than Federation vessels, designed for quick strikes and rescue missions. Captain Rodriguez trained volunteer crews. Many were humans who had lost jobs to alien automation. They were eager to prove their worth. Kate, despite losing her embassy job, still had contacts who provided intelligence about Zephyrian movements. Sam coordinated supply lines to keep the new fleet operational. Emma helped too in her own way. She drew pictures of the new ships and wrote messages for the crews. Be brave and save everyone, she wrote in crayon. By the end of the week, the Human Initiative had assembled a fleet of 30 fast attack ships. It wasn't large, but it was ready for action while Federation forces were still planning their response. The Federation High Command was furious when they discovered the unauthorized human fleet. These ships were built without approval, Overseer Keltar protested. Humans cannot be allowed to deploy military assets independently. Sir, with respect, we're losing the war, General Adams replied. The Zephyrian forces have taken 6 colonies while we've been debating procedures. Captain Rodriguez sent a message to Federation Command from her flagship. We're not asking for permission anymore. We're going to save those colonies whether you approve or not. The human fleet launched toward the battle zones. Their ships were untested and their crews were mostly volunteers. But they had something the Federation forces lacked, the willingness to take risks to save lives. The first battle was at Proxima Station, a mining colony under siege by Zephyrian forces. Federation ships were still 3 days away. The human fleet arrived in 18 hours. What happened next shocked military observers across the galaxy. The human ships didn't follow standard battle formations. Instead, they used unpredictable tactics that confused the enemy. When Zephyrian ships expected humans to retreat, they advanced. When the enemy expected a direct assault, the humans attacked from unexpected angles. Captain Rodriguez's crews fought with creativity and courage that the rigid Zephyrian military couldn't counter. Within 6 hours, the human fleet had broken the siege of Proxima Station. They evacuated 30,000 civilians while simultaneously defeating a Zephyrian force twice their size. Back on Earth, Emma watched the news coverage with growing excitement. Look, Maria. Captain Rodriguez is winning, she shouted. The success at Proxima Station was just the beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, human forces achieved victory after victory against Zephyrian fleets. Their unconventional tactics and willingness to take calculated risks proved devastatingly effective. Federation commanders were amazed and frustrated. How were these small human ships defeating enemies that had stymied Federation forces for decades? The answer was simple. Humans didn't wait for committee approval to try new ideas. When Captain Rodriguez saw an opportunity, she took it. When her crews needed to improvise, they improvised. The war reached its climax at the Battle of Kepler Prime, the largest Zephyrian stronghold. Federation forces had tried to take this system for 20 years without success. The human fleet, now expanded to 50 ships with reinforcements, approached the heavily defended system. Instead of a direct assault, Captain Rodriguez tried something no Federation commander had ever attempted. She split her fleet into small groups that attacked from 12 different directions simultaneously. The Zephyrian defenses, designed to counter large formations, couldn't adapt to the scattered assault. In the confusion, human rescue ships slipped through enemy lines and began evacuating Federation prisoners who had been held captive for years. Meanwhile, attack ships targeted Zephyrian command centers with precision strikes. The battle lasted only 4 hours. When it was over, the Zephyrian Empire had surrendered unconditionally. A war that had raged for over a century was finally over. Emma was jumping up and down in the living room as she watched the victory celebrations on television. "They did it, Maria. They saved everyone!" She cheered. But the victory created new problems. The Federation could no longer ignore human capabilities. They could no longer claim that humans needed careful supervision. Overseer Keltar faced angry questions from other Federation species. How had the humans succeeded where Federation forces had failed? Why were human ideas considered too dangerous when they clearly worked better than Federation strategies? The humans acted recklessly, Keltar insisted. They were lucky that their improvised tactics worked. But other Federation members weren't convinced. They had seen human crews save their colonies and defeat their enemies. They wanted to know why their own governments had restricted human participation for so long. The pressure was mounting. Emma's simple question about helping people had evolved into a galaxy-wide revolution. Species across the Federation were demanding changes to the old system of bureaucratic control. Change was coming whether the Federation Council wanted it or not. The humans had proved themselves in the most decisive way possible. Now they would have to decide what kind of galaxy they wanted to live in. Emma, watching the celebrations on television, asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Does this mean Daddy can come home now? The answer would determine the future of human-alien relations and the fate of the entire galaxy. The rescue at Kepler 442b had made humans famous across the galaxy. News reports showed Captain Rodriguez and her crews being celebrated as heroes. But not everyone was happy about what had happened. 3 days after the rescue, a very important alien came to Earth. His name was Overseer Keltar. He was part of the Federation Council that made rules for everyone. He was tall and blue with 4 arms. He always looked serious. Keltar called a meeting with all the important humans on Earth. Daniel had to attend, because his ships had been used in the rescue. Emma stayed home with Maria, but she watched the meeting on television. The unauthorized rescue mission was a violation of Federation law, Keltar announced. Humans acted without permission. This cannot be allowed. General Adams, the head of Earth's military, tried to defend the rescue. "Sir, our crews saved over 50,000 lives. Surely that counts for something." "Rules exist for good reasons," Keltar said. "When species act without approval, it creates chaos. Humans must learn to follow proper procedures." Emma was watching with Maria. She didn't understand all the words, but she could tell the blue alien was angry. "Why is he mad about saving people?" Emma asked. Maria sighed. "Some powerful people don't like it when others prove they can do important things without asking permission first." On the television, Daniel stood up to speak. "Overseer Keltar, with respect, your procedures would have resulted in 20,000 deaths. Our crews prevented that tragedy. Your crews used experimental technology that had not been approved for safety." Keltar replied. "What if your ships had exploded? What if your engines had failed? You could have made the disaster worse, but they didn't explode. They worked perfectly. And everyone lived," Daniel said. Emma clapped her hands. "Go, Daddy." Keltar's 4 eyes narrowed. "Mr. Carter, humans have been part of the Federation for only 50 years. Other species have been members for thousands of years. We have experience that you lack." After the meeting, Keltar announced new rules. All human ships would be inspected by Federation officials. Any human technology not approved by the Federation would be confiscated. Humans who violated these rules would be sent to prison. Daniel came home that evening looking tired and worried. "Daddy, the blue alien was mean to you," Emma said as she hugged him. "He's just doing his job, sweetheart." "He thinks the rules are very important," Daniel said. "Are the rules more important than saving people?" Emma asked. Daniel picked up his daughter and sat down with her. "What do you think, Emma?" "I think helping people is the most important thing. Rules should help us help people, not stop us," Emma said. That night, Daniel got phone calls from many business partners. Alien companies were threatening to stop buying things from Carter Industries. They said they wouldn't work with humans who broke Federation rules. Dr. Mitchell called with bad news too. "Daniel, they took my lab equipment. They say my energy research is too dangerous for humans to study." Captain Rodriguez had even bigger problems. The Federation military wanted to put her in prison for disobeying orders. Only the public support from the rescue had kept her out of jail so far. "They're trying to scare us into stopping," Daniel told Emma at breakfast. "Are you scared, Daddy?" Emma asked. "A little bit. But sometimes you have to be brave even when you're scared," Daniel said. "Like when I was scared of the dark, but I still helped that lost puppy find its way home," Emma said. "Exactly like that, sweetheart," Daniel said. At school that day, Emma noticed something strange. Her teacher, Mrs. Brown, seemed different. She was teaching a new lesson about following rules and being obedient. "Children, it's very important to always ask permission before trying new things," Mrs. Brown said. "Adults know what's best for us," Emma raised her hand. "But what if the adults are wrong?" Mrs. Brown looked uncomfortable. "Adults are rarely wrong, Emma. Especially adults who have lots of experience. But Daddy says everyone makes mistakes sometimes." "Even adults," Emma said. "Your father should be more careful about the ideas he shares with you," Mrs. Brown said. After school, Emma told her daddy about the new lessons. "They're trying to teach you not to ask questions," Daniel said. "But questions are very important. They help us learn and grow." "Should I stop asking questions at school?" Emma said. "No, sweetheart. Never stop asking questions. But be careful who you ask them to," Daniel said. Meanwhile, the Human Initiative was having serious problems. Many members were afraid to attend meetings. Kate had lost her job at the Federation Embassy. Sam's shipping company was being investigated by alien auditors. But not everyone was giving up. Dr. Mitchell was working in secret to rebuild his research. Captain Rodriguez was training other human crews in case they were needed again. Maria was designing new ships that would be even better than the first ones. "We can't let them scare us into stopping," Daniel told the remaining members of the Human Initiative. "Too many people are counting on us." "But Daniel, they're making it illegal to even think about new ideas," Sam said. "Then we'll have to be smarter about how we work," Daniel said. Emma was learning to be smart too. At school, she stopped asking difficult questions in front of Mrs. Brown. Instead, she talked to her friends during recess. "My daddy says humans are just as smart as aliens," she told her friend Bobby. "My mom says the same thing. She says aliens just want us to think they're smarter," Bobby replied. Emma's conversations with her friends spread to other children. Soon, kids all over the school were talking about why aliens got to make all the rules. But trouble was coming for Daniel's family personally. Overseer Keltar had decided that Daniel was a dangerous influence. He wanted to send Daniel to an alien prison planet as an example to other humans. Only Daniel's wealth and public support had protected him so far. But Keltar was looking for any excuse to arrest him. The excuse came when one of Daniel's factories was inspected. The aliens found equipment that could be used to build spaceships. Even though Daniel claimed it was for legal manufacturing, Keltar said it proved Daniel was planning more illegal activities. "Mr. Carter, you are under arrest for conspiracy against Federation security," Keltar announced on the news. Emma was watching television with Maria when she saw her daddy being taken away by alien guards. "Where are they taking Daddy?" Emma asked. She was trying not to cry. "They're taking him somewhere safe while they ask him questions," Maria said. But Maria was worried too. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about her daddy locked up somewhere far away. She thought about Captain Rodriguez, who might go to prison too. She thought about Dr. Mitchell, who couldn't do his research anymore. All of this had started because she asked why Maria was sleeping on the street. Her question had led to wonderful things like saving all those people on Kepler 442b. But it had also led to her daddy being in trouble. The next morning, Emma made a decision. She was only 7 years old, but she was Daniel Carter's daughter. She had learned how to ask the right questions. Maybe it was time to ask the most important question of all. She asked Maria to help her make a video message. Emma sat in front of the camera and spoke directly to everyone watching. "My name is Emma Carter. I'm 7 years old. I asked my daddy why a lady was sleeping on the street. That question started everything that's happening now." Emma looked directly into the camera. "I want to ask everyone another question. Why do you want to stop people from helping other people?" The video was simple, just a little girl asking an honest question. But within hours, it was being watched by millions of people across the galaxy. Emma's question was so simple that even young children could understand it. But it was also so powerful that it made adults think about what they were really doing. On alien planets, children began asking their parents the same question. Why are we trying to stop the humans from helping people? Many alien adults didn't have good answers. Emma's video changed everything. Again, her questions always seemed to cut through all the complicated arguments and get to the heart of what really mattered. But Keltar was not happy about the video. He saw it as proof that humans were teaching their children to rebel against authority. He decided to make an example that would scare all humans into obedience. He was going to put Daniel Carter on trial for crimes against the Federation, and he was going to make sure Daniel was found guilty. The fight for humanity's future was about to begin. And it all started with a 7-year-old girl who wasn't afraid to ask difficult questions. 2 months had passed since the Human Initiative began meeting in secret. The group had grown from 5 people to over 50. They met in different places now, sometimes in Daniel's office, sometimes in Dr. Mitchell's lab, sometimes in Captain Rodriguez's ship. Emma noticed her daddy was busier than before. He came home later and made more phone calls, but he seemed happier too, like he was doing something important. "Daddy, you smile more now," Emma said one morning at breakfast. "Do I, sweetheart?" Daniel asked. "Yes, you smile like when we helped Maria." "Are you helping more people?" Emma asked. Daniel knelt down next to Emma's chair. "Yes, Emma, we're trying to help lots of people, but it's a secret project, remember?" "I won't tell anyone," Emma promised. She was good at keeping secrets. That day at school, Emma learned something that made her think. Her teacher, Mrs. Brown, was talking about space travel. She showed pictures of beautiful planets with purple skies and silver oceans. "These planets are very far away," Mrs. Brown said. "Only special alien ships can travel there safely." Emma raised her hand. "Why can't human ships go there?" Mrs. Brown looked uncomfortable. "The Federation knows best, Emma. Humans aren't ready for such long trips." After school, Emma asked her daddy about it. They were walking through the city center. Construction robots were building a new alien embassy. Human workers were only allowed to carry supplies. "Daddy," Mrs. Brown said, "humans aren't ready for long space trips." "What does that mean?" Emma asked. Daniel watched the construction site. Human engineers had designed buildings just as beautiful as this one, but they weren't allowed to work on important Federation buildings. "It means the aliens think we need more practice," Daniel said. "But Captain Rodriguez flies in space every day. She's had lots of practice," Emma said. Daniel smiled. Emma was right again. "You know what, sweetheart? I think you should tell Captain Rodriguez that." That evening, the Human Initiative held their biggest meeting yet. Dr. Mitchell had exciting news to share. "I've been working on something new," Alan said. He showed them a small device that looked like a silver cube. "This can make spaceships go much faster than anything the Federation has." Captain Rodriguez leaned forward. "How much faster?" "Maybe 10 times faster." "It uses energy in a completely different way," Alan said. Everyone got quiet. This was exactly the kind of invention the Federation would never allow humans to make. "Alan, this could change everything," Daniel said. "But we can't test it without a ship, and we can't build a ship without the Federation knowing," Captain Rodriguez said. Daniel had been thinking about this problem for weeks. "What if we built ships in secret? I have factories on the moon. The Federation doesn't watch them as closely." Maria raised her hand. "I know other engineers who would help. People who lost their jobs like me. They would love to build something new." Over the next few weeks, the network grew even bigger. They found people in every part of society who wanted change. Kate Morgan worked at the Federation Embassy. She could tell them what the aliens were planning. Sam Parker ran a shipping company. He could move supplies without anyone noticing. Emma met some of these people when they came to dinner at Daniel's house. She liked Kate because Kate brought her alien candy that tasted like strawberries. She liked Sam because he told funny stories about his travels to different planets. "Emma, what do you think of Daddy's friends?" Maria asked one evening. "They're nice, and they all look happy when they talk about helping people," Emma said. Emma was right. Everyone in the Human Initiative felt excited about their work. For years, they had been told they couldn't try new ideas. Now they were finally getting to use their minds, but the work was dangerous. One evening, Kate brought bad news from the Federation Embassy. "They're getting suspicious," Kate said. "Some aliens are asking questions about human activities. They want to inspect more factories and labs." Daniel felt worried. If the Federation discovered their secret projects, everyone could go to jail. "We need to be more careful," Captain Rodriguez said, "and we need to work faster." Dr. Mitchell had been working day and night on his new engine. "Give me 6 more weeks. I can have the first engine ready for testing. I can have a small ship ready in 8 weeks, Maria said. "Nothing fancy, but it will fly." Emma overheard part of this conversation from the hallway. She didn't understand all the words, but she knew her daddy and his friends were working on something important, something that would help people. The next day at school, Emma had an idea. She was watching alien students who attended classes through video screens. They lived on other planets but could learn with human children through technology. "Mrs. Brown, why don't the alien children come to our school in person?" Emma asked. "They're too busy, Emma. Alien children have many important studies," Mrs. Brown said. "Are their studies more important than human children's studies?" Emma asked. Mrs. Brown didn't answer. But Emma noticed that several human children looked like they were thinking about her question. That afternoon, Emma told her daddy about the alien children who were too busy to come to school. "Daddy, if alien children are so busy, who has time to play?" Emma asked. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Daniel said. "Playing is important. If you're always too busy for important things like playing and making friends, then maybe you're doing the wrong things," Emma said. Daniel stared at his daughter. She had just said something very wise. The Federation was always talking about being too busy for this or too advanced for that, but maybe they were missing the point. "Emma, you're very smart," Daniel said. "I know, Daddy. Mommy told me before she went to heaven," Emma said. That evening, Daniel shared Emma's observation with the Human Initiative. "My daughter pointed out something interesting. The Federation is always too busy or too advanced to do simple things, but maybe simple things are the most important." "What do you mean?" Alan asked. "We're trying to match their technology and their rules, but what if our strength isn't in copying them? What if our strength is in being different?" Daniel said. Captain Rodriguez nodded. "Humans are good at working together quickly. Aliens always need committees and meetings. When there's an emergency, human crews respond faster. Humans are good at trying new things," Maria added. "Aliens want to study everything for years before they try it." "Humans are good at caring about others," Sam said. "Even people we don't know." Dr. Mitchell smiled. "So maybe we shouldn't try to build ships exactly like alien ships. Maybe we should build human ships that do things the human way." Over the next month, the Human Initiative changed their approach. Instead of copying alien designs, they created new designs that worked better for humans. Dr. Mitchell's engines were smaller and simpler than alien engines, but they were also more flexible. Maria's ship designs focused on crew comfort and quick decision-making. Captain Rodriguez planned training programs that emphasized creativity and teamwork. Emma continued asking questions that helped the adults think. When she heard them talking about weapon systems, she asked why they needed weapons at all. "Sometimes you have to fight bad people," Daniel explained. "But wouldn't it be better to make friends with them instead?" Emma asked. This led to long discussions about whether their ships should focus on fighting or on helping. In the end, they decided to build ships that were very good at rescue missions and exploration. Kate brought news that the Federation was planning new restrictions on human travel. They want to limit which planets humans can visit for business. This made everyone more determined to finish their project. They were running out of time. "How long do we have?" Daniel asked. "Maybe 6 months before the new rules take effect," Kate said. "Then we better work faster," Captain Rodriguez said. Emma noticed that her daddy's friends looked worried more often now. She wanted to help them feel better. One evening, she drew a picture of a spaceship with humans and aliens working together inside it. She showed it to the group during their meeting. "This is how things should be," Emma said. "Everyone working together and being friends." The adults looked at Emma's drawing. It reminded them why they were doing this work. Not to fight with aliens, but to prove that humans deserve to be equal partners. "Thank you, Emma," Daniel said. "You always help us remember what's important." The Human Initiative continued their secret work. They were building something that had never existed before. Ships designed by humans for humans, using the best of human thinking. But they knew that soon they would have to show the galaxy what they had built. And when that day came, everything would change. 6 months had passed since Emma first asked her question about Maria sleeping on the street. The Human Initiative had been working in secret all this time. They had built 3 small ships using Dr. Mitchell's new engines. The ships were hidden in Daniel's factories on the moon. Emma was now 7 years old. She had grown taller and asked even better questions. This morning she was eating breakfast and watching the news with her daddy. "Look, Daddy, something's happening on that planet," Emma said. She pointed at the screen. The news reporter was talking about Kepler 442b. It was a colony planet where aliens and humans lived together. A solar flare was heading toward the planet. Solar flares were like giant storms from the sun that could be very dangerous. "The colony has 2 days to evacuate everyone," the reporter said. "Federation ships are preparing for rescue operations." Daniel watched carefully. He knew about Kepler 442b. Over 50,000 people lived there. Most were aliens, but about 5,000 were humans. Emma asked the question that was in Daniel's mind. "Daddy, why does it take 2 days? Can't the spaceships go faster?" Daniel knew the answer, but it made him angry. Federation rescue operations always took a long time. They had to follow strict rules. Every decision had to be approved by committees. Every ship had to wait for official orders. "The Federation likes to be very careful, sweetheart," Daniel said. "But what if the storm comes before 2 days?" Emma asked. That afternoon, Daniel got a phone call from Captain Rodriguez. She was very upset. "Daniel, they won't let us help with the rescue," Lisa said. "My ship is closest to Kepler 442b. But command says we're not qualified for emergency operations." "What does that mean?" Daniel asked. "It means they think humans aren't good enough to save lives," Lisa said. "They'd rather risk people dying than let a human crew try to help." Daniel felt something burning in his chest. Emma's question echoed in his mind. What if the storm comes early? That evening, the Human Initiative held an emergency meeting. Everyone was watching the news about Kepler 442b. The Federation ships were moving slowly toward the colony. They estimated it would take 36 hours to evacuate everyone. Dr. Mitchell had been tracking the solar flare with his own instruments. "The storm is moving faster than they think. It will hit the planet in 24 hours, not 48. Everyone got quiet. That meant the Federation ships would be 12 hours too late. "We have to tell them," Sam said. "They won't listen to us," Kate said. "I tried to share Alan's data with my contacts at the embassy. They said human measurements are unreliable." Captain Rodriguez stood up. "My ship can be there in 18 hours. We could start evacuating people while the Federation ships are still traveling." "Lisa, that would be directly against orders," Daniel said. "So we're supposed to let people die because of orders?" Lisa asked. Emma was listening from the doorway. She walked into the room and looked at all the worried adults. "What's wrong?" she asked. Daniel knelt down next to her. "There are people in danger on another planet. The rescue ships might not get there in time. Then why don't other ships go help them?" Emma asked. "Because the rules say only certain ships are allowed to do rescues," Daniel said. Emma looked confused. "That's a silly rule. If someone is in danger, anyone who can help should help them." The room was quiet. Emma had said what everyone was thinking. Captain Rodriguez looked at Daniel. "The new ships are ready, aren't they?" "Yes, but they're not tested yet. We don't know if they'll work properly," Daniel said. "We know Alan's engines work. We've tested them in the lab," Maria said. Dr. Mitchell nodded. The theory is solid. The ships should be faster and more maneuverable than anything the Federation has. Daniel thought about Emma's words. If someone is in danger, anyone who can help should help them. But if they use the secret ships, everyone would know about the human initiative. If we do this, there's no going back, Daniel said. The Federation will know what we've been doing. Good, Captain Rodriguez said. I'm tired of hiding. Emma tugged on her daddy's sleeve. Daddy, are you going to help save the people? Daniel looked at his daughter. Then he looked around the room at all his friends who wanted to help. He thought about Maria, who had been sleeping on the street because she wasn't allowed to use her skills. He thought about all the humans who were told they weren't good enough. Yes, Emma, we're going to help save them, Daniel said. The next few hours were very busy. Captain Rodriguez took her crew to the moon to get the new ships. Dr. Mitchell made final checks on his engines. Maria and Sam loaded supplies for the rescue mission. Daniel stayed on Earth with Emma, but he coordinated everything through secure communication channels. Kate used her contacts to get detailed information about the colony layout. Daddy, will Captain Rodriguez be okay? Emma asked. She's very brave and very smart. She'll be fine, Daniel said, but he was worried too. The 3 human ships launched from the moon just after midnight. They were small compared to Federation ships, but Dr. Mitchell's engines made them incredibly fast. What should have taken 18 hours only took 12. Captain Rodriguez arrived at Kepler 442b 6 hours before the Federation fleet. Her crew immediately began evacuating the most vulnerable people. Children, elderly aliens, and sick humans were loaded onto the ships first. The solar flare was getting closer. The Federation ships were still 8 hours away. Back on Earth, Daniel and Emma watched the news coverage. At first, the reporters were confused. Who were these human ships? Why weren't they waiting for official Federation approval? Then the reports changed. The human crews were working faster than anyone expected. They were taking risks that Federation crews would never take, flying closer to the storm, making multiple trips instead of waiting for all 3 ships to be loaded. Look, Daddy, they're saving so many people, Emma said. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the communication channel. Daniel, we've evacuated 30,000 people so far. But the storm will hit in 3 hours. The Federation ships won't make it. What about the remaining 20,000? Daniel asked. We're going back for them. But our ships might not survive if we stay too long, Lisa said. Emma heard the conversation. Daddy, tell Captain Rodriguez that brave people do brave things. She should save everyone she can. Daniel smiled at his daughter. Then he spoke into the communication device. Lisa, Emma says brave people do brave things. Save everyone you can. Tell Emma I'll do my best, Lisa replied. The human crews made trip after trip. They worked without stopping. When one ship's shields got damaged by solar radiation, the crew kept flying anyway. When another ship's engines overheated, they cooled them down with ice from the colony's water supplies. The Federation ships finally arrived just as the solar flare reached the planet. But by then, Captain Rodriguez and her crews had evacuated everyone. All 53,000 people were safe. The Federation commanders were angry and confused. How had human crews completed a mission that should have been impossible? Back on Earth, the news was full of reports about the unauthorized rescue. Some people were calling the human crews heroes. Others were saying they had broken important laws. Emma watched everything on the news. Finally, she asked the question that everyone was thinking. Daddy, why are some people angry that Captain Rodriguez saved everyone? Daniel didn't have a good answer. Some people think rules are more important than helping others. That's silly, Emma said. Helping people is always the most important thing. That evening, Emma's comment was shared on social media by someone who had overheard it. Within hours, millions of humans around the world were sharing the same message. Why are they angry that we saved everyone? The question spread to other planets. Alien citizens began asking their own governments the same thing. Why were the humans being criticized for saving lives? Daniel realized that Emma had done it again. Her simple question had made everyone think about what was really important. The rescue at Kepler 442b had changed everything. The galaxy had seen what humans could do when they were allowed to try. The secret was out. Now they had to face whatever came next. But for the first time in years, Daniel felt hopeful. His daughter had taught him something important. Sometimes doing the right thing is more important than following the rules. Sometimes helping people is worth the risk. Captain Rodriguez and her crews were heroes. The human initiative was no longer a secret. And Emma had shown the galaxy what really mattered. The question she asked 6 months ago had led to this moment. Now everyone was asking new questions, questions that would change how the galaxy worked. Emma fell asleep that night with a big smile on her face. She had helped save 53,000 people just by asking the right questions. That felt pretty good for a 7-year-old girl. The morning sun shone bright over New York City as Daniel Carter walked down the street with his 6-year-old daughter Emma. The tall glass buildings reached up to the sky like metal trees. Flying cars moved between them in neat lines. Everything looked perfect and clean. Daniel wore his best suit. He was one of the richest men on Earth. His company, Carter Industries, made parts for spaceships. The alien governments from other planets bought lots of things from him. This made him very rich. Emma skipped beside him in her blue dress. Her long brown hair bounced as she walked. She loved coming to work with her daddy. The office had big windows and she could see the whole city from up high. "Daddy, look at all the pretty ships," Emma said. She pointed up at the sky. Silver ships from other worlds flew between the Earth ships. They were bigger and shinier. "Yes, sweetheart. Those are our friends from the Galactic Federation," Daniel said. He smiled, but something felt wrong when he said it. The alien ships always seemed to tell the human ships where to go. They walked past many people going to work. Most of them looked tired. Some looked sad. Daniel did not think much about this. He was used to seeing the same things every day. Then Emma stopped walking. She was looking at something by the side of the building. Daniel looked too. There was a woman sitting against the wall. She had dirty clothes and a thin blanket. A small sign next to her said she was hungry. "Daddy, why is she sleeping here?" Emma asked. Her big brown eyes looked up at Daniel. Daniel had walked past homeless people many times. He always told himself it was not his problem. The government should take care of them. But now Emma was asking. He had to give her an answer. "Well, sweetheart, some people don't have homes," he said. He tried to keep walking, but Emma did not move. "But why doesn't she have a home?" "Everyone should have a home," Emma said. She kept looking at the woman. The woman looked up at them. Her name was Maria Santos. Daniel could see she was not very old. Maybe 30 years. Her eyes looked smart but very tired. "I used to build things," Maria said quietly. "I was an engineer. But then the aliens brought their robots. The robots could do my job better, so I lost my job. Then I lost my home." Emma looked confused. "But Daddy, you said the aliens were our friends." Daniel felt something twist in his stomach. He had never thought about it this way. The Galactic Federation said they were helping Earth. They brought new technology. They stopped wars between countries. But they also brought robots and computers that took people's jobs. "They are our friends, Emma. But sometimes friends make things complicated," Daniel said. He did not know what else to say. "That's not fair," Emma said. She walked closer to Maria. "Are you hungry?" Maria nodded. Emma looked in her small backpack. She pulled out her lunchbox. Inside was a sandwich and an apple. She gave them to Maria. "Thank you, little one," Maria said. Her eyes filled with tears. "You have a good heart." Daniel watched his daughter. Emma had not thought twice about helping. She saw someone who needed food and she gave her food. It was that simple for her. "Daddy, can't we help everyone?" Emma asked. She took Daniel's hand and looked up at him. Daniel looked around the street. Now he really looked. He saw more people with no homes. He saw people walking with their heads down. He saw human workers cleaning the streets while alien machines did the important jobs. For the first time, Daniel really thought about what Earth had become. When the aliens came 50 years ago, they said they wanted to help. They ended all the wars. They brought medicine that cured diseases. They brought technology that made life easier. But they also made rules. Humans could only travel to certain planets. Humans could only do certain jobs. Humans had to ask permission before making new inventions. The aliens said this was to keep everyone safe. Daniel had done well because his company made simple parts. The aliens let humans do simple work. But people like Maria who wanted to design new things, they were not allowed anymore. "Emma, you're right. It's not fair," Daniel said. He knelt down next to his daughter. "And yes, maybe we can help everyone." Emma smiled big. "Really, Daddy?" Daniel looked at Maria. "What was your name?" "Maria Santos," she said. "Maria, what if I told you that you could work as an engineer again? What if you could build new things?" Maria's eyes got wide. "The Federation won't allow it. They say humans are not ready for advanced engineering." "What if we didn't ask the Federation?" Daniel said. The words surprised him as they came out of his mouth. Emma clapped her hands. Yes, Daddy. We can build things to help people. Daniel stood up. His mind was racing. He was very rich. He had factories and labs. He had smart people working for him. What if they started making things without asking the aliens first? Maria, do you have somewhere to stay tonight? Daniel asked. No, sir, Maria said. Come with us. I have guest rooms in my building. We can talk about work tomorrow, Daniel said. Maria could not believe it. Are you serious? My daughter asked me a question. She wanted to know why you were sleeping here. I think the real question is why we let this happen at all, Daniel said. Emma hugged Maria's arm. You can stay with us. Daddy has lots of rooms. As they walked to Daniel's building, Emma kept asking questions. Why did aliens make all the rules? Why couldn't humans go to some planets? Why did robots do all the fun jobs? Each question made Daniel think more. By the time they reached his office, Daniel had made a decision. He was going to find other humans who felt the same way. He was going to help people like Maria. And maybe, just maybe, he was going to change how things worked. Emma had asked a simple question about why someone was sleeping on the street. But that question was about to change everything. Not just for Maria, not just for Daniel, but for all of humanity. That night, Daniel sat in his office looking out at the city. Emma was asleep in the next room. Maria was in a guest room taking her first hot shower in months. Daniel picked up his phone. He started making calls to people he trusted. Scientists, military officers, business owners. People who might want to change things too. The question Emma asked that morning was still in his mind. Why is she sleeping here? But now he had a different question. What are we going to do about it? 3 weeks had passed since Emma asked her question. Daniel could not stop thinking about it. Every morning when he went to work, he saw more things that bothered him. Humans doing simple jobs while aliens did the important work. Human children learning in schools that taught them to follow alien rules. Maria now worked in Daniel's lab. She was smart and full of ideas. But every time she wanted to try something new, Daniel's other workers said the same thing. The Federation won't allow it. We need permission first. It might be dangerous. Daniel was getting tired of hearing those words. One evening, Daniel was reading bedtime stories to Emma. She picked a book about space explorers. The story was about humans who traveled to new worlds and made friends with aliens. In the story, humans and aliens worked together as equals. Daddy, why don't real humans get to explore like in the story? Emma asked, What do you mean, sweetheart? Daniel said, though he knew what she meant. Yesterday at school, Mrs. Johnson said humans can only visit 12 planets. But there are thousands of planets. Why can't we visit the others? Emma said. Daniel closed the book. Emma always asked the right questions, the ones that made him think. The Federation says those planets are too dangerous for humans, Daniel said. But alien children get to visit them. Are alien children braver than human children? Emma asked. Daniel had no good answer for that. Far across the city, Captain Lisa Rodriguez was having her own problems. She stood on the bridge of her ship, the EDS Liberty. It was a good ship with a good crew, but they never got to do anything important. Captain, we got our new orders, said Lieutenant Jake Wilson. He did not look happy. Let me guess. Another supply run? Lisa said, Yes, ma'am. We're taking food and medicine to the Centauri colonies. The alien ships will handle the patrol missions, Jake said. Lisa looked out at space. 3 alien ships flew past them. They were bigger and had better weapons. But Lisa knew her crew was just as brave and just as smart as any alien crew. Captain, why don't they ever let us fight? Asked Ensign Kate Morgan. She was young and wanted to prove herself. The Federation says humans are too aggressive. They think we might start fights instead of preventing them, Lisa said. But saying it out loud made her angry. Lisa had been in space for 10 years. She had seen alien crews make mistakes. She had seen them fail at missions that humans could have completed easily. But humans were never given the chance to try. Back on Earth, Daniel was making more phone calls. He had found other people who felt the same way he did. Dr. Alan Mitchell was one of them. Alan was a scientist who studied energy. He had invented a new type of battery that could power spaceships for much longer. But when he tried to share his invention, the Federation took it away. They said it needed to be studied for safety. That was 3 years ago. Alan never heard about it again. Daniel, I'm glad you called, Alan said. They were meeting in Daniel's office late at night. I've been thinking the same things you have. How many other people feel this way? Daniel asked. More than you might think. I know teachers who hate the new education rules. I know doctors who can't use medicines they invented. I know engineers like Maria who lost their jobs to alien machines, Alan said. Daniel looked out his window. The city was quiet, but he could see alien ships patrolling in the sky. They said it was for security, but it felt more like watching. What if we started working in secret? Daniel said. Alan raised his eyebrows. That would be illegal. Is it illegal to help people? Is it illegal to use our own minds? Daniel said. The next morning, Emma was eating breakfast when she heard her daddy talking on the phone. She could hear him saying words like project and secret and help people. Daddy, what's a secret project? Emma asked when he finished his call. Daniel sat down next to her. Sometimes when you want to help people, you have to work quietly, so nobody stops you before you can help. Like when I secretly gave my sandwich to that boy at school who forgot his lunch, Emma said. Exactly like that, sweetheart, Daniel said. Emma always understood things so simply. That afternoon, Daniel got a visitor he did not expect. Captain Rodriguez came to his office. She had heard about what he was doing through friends in the military. Mr. Carter, I heard you might be starting something new, Lisa said. What kind of something? Daniel asked. He had to be careful. Not everyone could be trusted. Something that would let humans prove what we can do, Lisa said. Daniel studied her face. She looked determined. Like someone who was tired of being told to stay in the background. Captain, what would you do if you didn't have to follow Federation rules? Daniel asked. I would show them that human crews are just as good as any alien crew. Maybe better, Lisa said. That evening, Daniel had dinner with Emma and Maria. Emma was telling them about school. She had learned about the Federation Council. It was the government that made rules for all the planets. There are no humans on the Federation Council, Emma said. Why don't we get to vote on the rules? Maria and Daniel looked at each other. Emma had done it again. She had asked the most important question of all. The Federation says humans are still learning how to be part of the galaxy. They say we need more time before we can help make decisions, Daniel said. But Daddy, you make good decisions every day, and you're human, Emma said. After Emma went to bed, Daniel and Maria talked more about the secret project. They had scientists like Alan who wanted to try new inventions. They had military people like Captain Rodriguez who wanted to prove themselves. They had business people who were tired of asking permission for everything. Daniel, what if we built our own ships? What if we made our own inventions? What if we showed the galaxy what humans can really do? Maria said. Daniel thought about Emma's questions. About all the people who were told they couldn't try new things. About all the humans who had to watch while aliens made decisions for them. Maria, I think you're right, but we have to be smart about it. We have to be ready before anyone finds out what we're doing, Daniel said. Over the next few days, Daniel met with more people. Captain Rodriguez brought other military officers who felt the same way. Dr. Mitchell brought scientists who had been told their ideas were too dangerous. Maria brought engineers who lost their jobs to alien machines. They started meeting in Daniel's private conference room. Emma would sometimes walk by and wave at them through the glass. She liked seeing her daddy with friends. One evening, Emma asked Daniel why his friends always looked so serious. We're working on a big project to help people. Big projects require serious thinking, Daniel said. Is it like when I helped the sad lady on the street? Emma asked. It's exactly like that, sweetheart. But much bigger, Daniel said. Emma smiled. Good. Helping people is the best thing to do. Daniel hugged his daughter. She was right as always. Helping people was the best thing to do. And they were going to help a lot of people. They were going to help all of humanity. The secret meetings continued. The group grew larger. They had a name now, the Human Initiative. They had plans for new technologies, new ships, and new ways of doing things. But most importantly, they had hope. Hope that humans could be more than just junior partners in the galaxy. Hope that Emma would grow up in a world where humans were equals. The question Emma asked 3 weeks ago had started something big. Something that would change everything. And it was just the beginning.